G35 Budget Build, Episode 2. Today, we will be installing my wingless trunk because I like it more than the stock spoiler. I stored the trunk I bought for $30 and I will be selling my stock trunk for more car part funds. As of now, I'm just removing the trunk liner by popping off the plastic tabs that's holding them in place using a flathead screwdriver. It's fairly easy to do, but be careful so that you don't break the plastic tabs so you can reuse it again. After removing the trunk liner, you will have to unplug these two wires connected to trunk lock actuator and one wire connected to the third brake light of the trunk spoiler by gently pressing on the tab and pull away. After unplugging the connections, pry off the zip tie clips that secures the wires onto the trunk. After removing the wires, you can pry off the tab that's clipped onto a joint to free the hydraulic arm open using a flathead screwdriver and popping it out of the joint it's connected to. After popping the hydraulic arm off, there are a 12mm bolt that holds the trunk hinge on place. I suggest using a regular wrench on some of the bolts because most ratchets will not fit in the tiny gap. After removing the old trunk, I placed the new trunk in and reversed the process by tightening the four 12mm bolts that secures the trunk hinge onto the body of the car. Pop the hydraulic arms back into its joint, fish the wires through the holes in the trunk and clipping it back in place, and putting the trunk liner back on using the same clips I removed earlier. Since I got my car for a lower price, there are some issues with it, including having to pull the emergency tab inside the trunk in order to open it from a DIY extension using zip ties that I made so that I can pull it from inside the cabin. In this clip, I'm reattaching it back since I had to cut it off in order to remove the old trunk. The wingless trunk that I bought had 4 holes in them because the previous owner put an aftermarket spoiler in it and decided to part out the car, so I am left with those holes to fill with Bondo. But for the meantime, I covered the holes using some scrap vinyl wrap pieces. And what has been done on one side is repeated onto the other side. This is the result of episode 2 of the Budget G35 build. Thank you for watching. See you on the next episode.